Hi there, welcome to buysilver.org and our review of last week's investment markets. Before we look at the precious metals, let's have just a quick look at stocks and the economy. Stock markets around the world tumbled about 2% last week amid European debt concerns and the problems in the US to reach an agreement on the debt ceiling. With this backdrop, both Moody's and Standard & Poor's have threatened to downgrade the USA's credit status. Indeed, Standard & Poor's have said that they see a 50% chance of them downgrading the US credit within 90 days. For his part, Bernanke, in his semi-annual testimony to lawmakers, has said that the Fed remains prepared to take whatever action necessary to adjust monetary policy. Market watchers are taking this as confirmation a third round of quant easing remains on the cards, probably looking increasingly likely in the fall, maybe October-November time. Elsewhere in Europe, it looks more likely that Italy will join the likes of Greece, Ireland and Portugal, possibly Spain, requiring emergency bailout funds. With all this in mind, we see stock markets continuing to retreat as economic, debt and inflation concerns take greater hold. Now let's look at the metals, gold and silver in particular. And of course, last week, with everything that's going on in stock markets and the economy around the world, we saw that there was a flight towards safe haven of gold, and gold nearly hit that magic $1,600 mark, closing just a few points below it. We see this sort of movement continuing, and we would expect to see $1,600 hit within the next few days. Let's look at silver a little bit more closely. Silver's been a little bit left behind in the last couple of months. From March, we saw a big bounce of a major support level around about 34.50, and that really prompted the rise all the way through there to around about $50 mid-April to end April. Of course, what we saw then was a major pullback down to that support level of the S1 line there, as loose holders of silver was shaken out. That S1 line is very important. We've tested that 2 times, 3 times now with this third test in early July. What looks now to have been a major pivot point, with a slightly decreasing values of silver through June through to July. We've pointed to this pivot point, and that actually coincided with the worst economic news starting to come out, the debt news coming out, China's raising of interest rates, and consequently in the first week of July we saw an 8.75% rise in the price of silver, and that was followed last week by another great action, 7% rise over the week, even though the bears tried to hit that below that S2 line. We fell slightly below it and bounced straight back over it again. So S2 is now a major support line, and we're on the cusp of R1. This is a huge resistance. However, we don't think, if you look at this chart, we don't think that it's going to be long before that resistance is broken clearly through, and we're going to see a rise back towards the $50 level, with gold dragging silver higher as well, as gold appreciates in value. We think that it is possibly looking through to October, November, when we're going to retest those $50 highs again. So there you have it. Continuing weakness in the economy and stock markets, spurred by global debt concerns, going hand in hand with rising prices of precious metals. Silver likely to test all-time highs of $50 certainly by the end of the year, if not in October, November time. So until next week, all that's left to say is, from buysilver.org, invest wisely. Thank you.